Well, Steve, you're hurting literally. He's done his ribs pretending to play football. He's too old for that. But Newcastle, the town, the city, are hurting metaphorically. Terry Venables is the latest to turn down the job that seemingly nobody wants. Where do Newcastle go from here?
Well, my concern is that they go for like a compromise option, because we're in this catch-22 situation where Ashley needs like a big name to steady the ship and to sell the club to someone. But if it's too big a name, they're going to want certain guarantees about the position.
Absolutely.
And so I think Venables might have been like the right option there if they could have given more guarantees. But now do they fall back on someone like O'Leary, who I'm not that convinced about?
No, nor am I. I think you need a person in there who's got the CV, the achievements to go and actually rabble rouse the players, get them organised, lift the chins off the floor, and get them playing. Because the one thing that people don't want to buy is a football club that's heading for relegation. Yeah. Unfortunately, they couldn't give Venables what he wanted. I mean, even if they'd said to him, look, we'll give you 6 months, we'll give you a year, we'll give you to the end of the season, and if someone else comes in that time and wants you out, then that's the way it is. Yeah. But you'll get paid off, paid up for the the length of the contract that we've given you. Yeah. Obviously, that might still not have made a difference, because Venables did want guarantees over a future that just would never have been secure. I think the problem now is Ashley's obviously looking to sell the club at a profit. I personally don't think that having no manager in charge at this moment will be that big a deal if someone wants to come in and buy the club right now. But if he waits 3-4 weeks, a couple of months down the line, the team are actually adrift at the bottom of the table. No, not just fighting at the bottom of the table, but adrift at the bottom of the table. That's when would-be investors are going to look at it and say, well, hey, all right, we might think about going for Newcastle, but there's no way we're going to pay Ashley a premium. We're going to come in with a rock bottom bid. So the onus on him now is huge to sell the club quickly. Before the situation actually on the pitch sort of moves towards the point where it's untenable and irretrievable. I mean, who knows about these Nigerians? Nobody knows. I've spoken to the guy who's fronting the big, Chris Nathaniel. I spoke to him quite a lot recently, and we actually broke the story of the Nigerian interest, but no one knows still who these guys are. Yeah. There's obviously a lot of jokes going around, because of the reputation that Nigerians have, and I think that's inevitable.
Well, it's inevitable when they're not coming out.
Exactly, they're creating the sort of intrigue themselves, or they're certainly, making it worse. Chinese, now we've talked about the Chinese coming in, Zhurong Mao, this property developer, whether it's his consortium, whether it's another consortium, again, nobody knows. There's a sort of veil of secrecy. And while all that sort of business is going on down in London, the feeling in Newcastle is just, that it's one big rudderless ship, set adrift. I look ahead to tomorrow's game. I can't see things getting any better any quicker. Blackburn have had a rough patch at the start of the season and seem to have come through it. The one thing they're going to be doing is fighting for each other, because that's what Paul Ince instills in players. So as I say, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, and so the onus now is massive on Ashley to sell. And if that means, foregoing a huge profit in favour of just making a little bit of a return on something that's gone disastrously wrong, then so be it.
The thing for me about that is that he seems to have been prepared to take losses in other areas of his business. Why be holding out for something that he doesn't really seem to care about?
I suppose, although the guy, he's never going to be short of a bob or two. Money comes to money. The fact is, he's apparently, taken big hits recently financially. I don't think he can afford to look on Newcastle now as a hobby, if he ever did in the first place. There's talk about him obviously losing big on HBOS shares last week. He obviously enjoys casinos as well, although the losses he'll make there are piecemeal compared to what he's said to have lost in the HBOS. I mean, if he has made that level of loss, then I guess he probably can't afford in his own mind to think, right, Newcastle United, that was fun while it lasted for a while. I'll take a 50, 75 million, 100 million pound hit. I think he does probably look at it and think, I need to make a profit, but the question is how big a profit and how quickly, because the longer he waits, the smaller the profit becomes. No one's going to pay even £200 million for a club that's in the Championship.